The great Serbian Yugoslav Spomenik road trip begins, and I will continue to seek out Spomeniks in Serbia until I'm too cold. What is a Spomenik? This is a Spomenik. If you don't know, go back and watch my first episode of Spomenik road trips in Slovenia. I get into more detail there. So this Spomenik behind me is a 7-meter tall urn. They put it up in 1960 to commemorate the roughly 12,000 civilians who were executed here on this site. When the Kingdom of Yugoslavia fell to the Axis powers, this town, this region, was given to the Axis puppet state, NDH, the independent state of Croatia, whose primary goal was to create an ethnically pure nation of Croats. So the Serbs, the Jews, the Roma had to go. In order to make these executions run as smoothly as possible, the NDH sent Viktor Tomic from Vukovar to this city. He had just finished executing hundreds of civilians in Vukovar. He did a good job. In about 2 weeks after he was here, over 10,000 civilians had been arrested, subsequently tortured, executed, or shipped off to death camps nearby. Viktor Tomic ended up committing suicide, by the way, after he was captured. So this happened in July 1942, and this town calls it the Bloody Srem Summer, or the Srem Bloody Summer. It's a 10-minute drive to the next Spomenik. It's the Meeting of the Couriers Monument in Šašinci. I think I said that right. They put it up in 1979. This work depicts young men who operated as messenger couriers for the partisans. I love Ruma. This is the monument to the revolution, 1971. Locals call this Trube, which means trumpet. It's November 19th. Serbian Orthodox Christmas is about 2 months away. No such thing as too soon in Novi Sad. Morning from Novi Sad. Here's the building I stayed in last night, from back in the Austria-Hungary days. This is the monument to the victims of the 1942 Novi Sad raid. They put it up in 1971. After the Kingdom of Yugoslavia was invaded and overrun by Axis forces in April 1941, this region of Novi Sad was given to Hungary. And the Hungarian troops immediately began a process of Magyarization. Magyar is Hungarian for Hungarian. So they began this process of Magyarization in which they killed anyone they could who was of non-Hungarian background. And the most notorious of the Hungarian attacks on the civilians of Novi Sad is referred to as the Novi Sad raid. They took 1,200 civilians from Novi Sad and marched them across the frozen Danube River. This was January 1942. 1,200 marching across the frozen Danube River until they fell through the ice to their death. And here's a list of the 1,200 civilians the Hungarians killed that day. Here's an interesting bust of Ferenc Feher. It's a Hungarian poet from Yugoslavia. That was me trying to get to a Spomenik that either doesn't exist anymore or it's misplaced on the map. It was a monument to a Danube partisan unit. And now I'm headed to Belgrade.
My good friend Ed, and because he's dead, it's red.
Oh, great!
So this former concentration camp has been repurposed. It's now housing for low-income residents of Belgrade. This is the monument to the Sajmište concentration camp. They put it up in 1995. West of the Sava became the independent state of Croatia, and the Nazis built a concentration camp here on the site of the former Belgrade fairgrounds. The Germans dubbed it the Jewish camp in Zemun. Thousands of Jewish women, old men, and children were brought to this camp, along with 500 Jewish men and 292 Roma, gypsies. Many of them did not survive the winter, 1941, 1942. They froze to death. Come springtime, the Germans brought in a gas van from Berlin, and they gassed all remaining Jewish inmates here. With the gassings complete, it was renamed the Zemun concentration camp, and it opened up to Yugoslav partisans, Chetniks, Serb peasants, any other Jews that were caught. It's estimated around 23,000 people were killed here. 10,000 of them were Jews. The monument to the defending pilots of Belgrade, 1994. One last look at the monument, and that's Hotel Yugoslavia behind it. One of the oldest luxurious Serbian hotels, was opened in 1969. It was one of the 5 largest hotels when it opened up in Europe. This is a short visit to Belgrade. I'm only here for 3 nights, but no visit is too short to skip a splav. Splav is a floating river club, floating bar, floating restaurant. There are over 200 or 300 of them in Belgrade. It's kind of a symbol of Belgrade. Look at that. Look at that. This is Ljubica's favorite song.
Favorite patriotic song.
Favorite patriotic song. Good morning from Belgrade. Actually, it's afternoon. It's late afternoon. Sun's about to go down. Just woke up thanks to another relaxing evening at Cafe Azar. Thank you guys. There's quite a few monuments related to the Holocaust in Belgrade, and I'm headed to one right now called the Flaming Menorah. Belgrade was the first major European city to be declared by the Nazis to be Judenfrei, free of Jews. They put this Spomenik up in 1990. It's a 4.5 meter high menorah that depicts human heads and limbs protruding from flames. Yugoslav sculptor Nander Glid created this one, and he was himself a Holocaust survivor. Knez Mihailova is the main pedestrian and shopping zone of Belgrade, and it is decked out for Serbian Orthodox Christmas. It's a kilometer-long street, and there's a lot of buildings and mansions here from the late 1870s. I used to live in this building up here. Knez Mihailova Street turns into Trg Republika, Republic Square, and this is a statue of Prince Michael, Knez Mihailo. And you can see he's pointing somewhere. You know where he's pointing to? He's pointing to Istanbul. He's showing the Turks which way to start walking to get back home. I'm walking about 10 minutes to pick up my car, and we'll see a few more Spomeniks in Belgrade and then drive to Vršac. I'm walking through Dorčel neighborhood right now. That's the old main Jewish settlement of Belgrade back in the day. Taking a look around Belgrade's Sephardic Jewish cemetery. Sephardic Jews are the ones who originated from the Iberian Peninsula, I believe. So here at the Sephardic Jewish Cemetery is the first abstract monument built in socialist Yugoslavia. They put it up in 1952. It's a Spomenik to the Jewish victims of fascism. It's built out of stone scavenged from the rubble in Dorčel, the Jewish neighborhood I walked through earlier this morning, as well as shattered Jewish gravestones. Some really hauntingly beautiful tombstones here. This guy looks like a gangster. Died 1940. I can't read the Hebrew, but there's a German inscription here. There's nothing in English. It says, Hier ruhen 800 Juden aus Österreich, die auf dem Wege in das Heilige Land. 800 Jews are lying here from Austria, and they were on their way to the Holy Land. They were killed by Nazis in Šabac on October 25th, 1941. They must be talking about the men. The men were killed there. Okay, let's get into the story. So this is the monument to the Kladovo transport. They put it up in 1959. The Kladovo transport was a group of 1,200 mostly Austrian Jews who got on a boat in Vienna to take the Danube down to the Black Sea, and then they were going to head over to the Holy Land, Israel. But Romania turned them around, refused them passage. So they ended up disembarking in Kladovo, Serbia. The Serbian authorities transferred them to the Šabac internment camp, where all of the men were immediately executed by the Nazis in reprisals for partisan attacks. So the remaining women and children had to march through the snow to Sajmište concentration camp, which is the area I visited a couple days ago. And a lot of those women and children froze to death along the way. And those that did not were killed by the gas vans on loan from Berlin. Where are we?
In Pančevo.
Why are we here?
To eat.
All right, what do we got here, Iulia? What does it say?
This is dedicated to people from Pančevo who died in the 1914 because they
1914, hold on, this is not World War II. Okay, cut. They have Tito turkey here. Finally. Gypsy pork. And rolls.
Also pork. Also pork.
Bacon. Lots of bacon. What do we want? What do we want?
Be some toothpicks.
Vršac. When do we want it?
No.
We won it by 4. We won it by 4.
No.
Vršac! Slice of heaven. The Ottomans have left their mark on Serbia. Where are we, Diana?
We are in park, Central Park, Vršac.
Why are we here, Diana?
To see some Spomeniks.
So, look at this one.
It is an invisible thing.
So, there were a lot of Austro-Hungarian memorials here, monuments, and they were all taken by the communists. And Tito didn't really put up any Spomeniks in Vršac. Sorry. We're going to see a Tito thing. There it is, a Tito thing.
In this building in that time was drug Tito with a part of the high quarters, and he was handling the operations for liberating the Belgrade.
So the hospital built this once COVID hit. Oxygen. We got snow. This is a Tito garden. The bushes spell out Tito. You're gonna have to trust me. That's the T. There's an I beyond it. Another T. I can't guess what the last letter would be. So these are repurposed Jewish gravestones. The engravings are worn pretty thin. Discovered by Diana one day while she was sitting there, not smoking anything. The supermarket, Gomex, used to be a bus station, Yugoslav-era.
George Petrovic Karađorđević, he was one of the kings or something, but one time he was passing through Vršac and he stayed here. That's why his picture's up here. There's like a story.
Look at this, I think we found a legitimate Spomenik here in Vršac. Does it say anything, Jakobe?
No, this is Yugoslavia. This has to do with the paragliding championship.
So this is a Tito-era Spomenik, but it has nothing to do with the NOB. This is a paragliding championship, Yugoslavia, 1972. Look at that. Congratulations, Vršac. And I guess it resembles a paraglider in some way.
It resembles something.
So this was an old beer brewery. Look how beautiful that building is.
It's like from the 1700s or something, late 1700s, I think.
They didn't have Muchkalica, instead they had this. What is it called? That's what it is.
Stuffed hamburger.
Serbian Spomeniks are on hold in honor of Thanksgiving in Romania with cousin Jakobe, Neutron, and the Romanian family. So this is what Romania looks like. I always like to stop at this vinegar factory, this abandoned vinegar factory on the way to Cluj, and show whatever Serbian I'm with. You like it? All brick, look at that. This is all pollution.
I didn't know they had nuclear here. We're all getting screwed by the financial system all of a sudden.
The spiders are cold in Romania. Hey Jake, remember what I told you? What date is the big party here?
December 1st?
December 1st, 1918. Big party here in Alba, Iulia. There's the bus station for it. Look at that. Yeah, so this is the town that birthed Romania. When the Austro-Hungarian Empire fell, Romania became joined with Transylvania. Nice.
No wonder why everyone's...
Hello, Christmas Dip. Christmas Serbs. Looks good. What do we got here? Transylvanian goulash. We have Romanian shiznit. This is Romanian coup something.
silhouette of Vucic fucking smacking down the ball. And so he came up with...
It's not the tea. It's not the tea we're excited about, Jake. Not the tea.
It's the team.
This is a Romanian thing, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I had a thing where...
This is a Romanian chilber. So of all the things I'm showing them in Cluj, this is what is intriguing them the most. This guard box, because it's got a curtain on it.
Greens, you know which one. It's the weirdest building in fucking...
What's up, Amelia?
I'm just enjoying.
Panning, panning, panning.
More salt. I think maybe a bit more garlic. Like this is the poop.
Oh, yeah, that's why. Alright, Jacobe, what are you making?
The gravy, Grandpa's gravy.
Grandpa's gravy, that's the key. Grandpa's gravy. Romanians are bringing lots of drinks for Thanksgiving. Mulțumesc, Gheorghe, 25-year aged from Romania. Captain Morgan, Black Spice.
In the middle of the night with more people without our country.
This is exciting. There's a way to make ice in Eastern Europe that somehow has escaped me all these years. This is how you make ice in Romania,
Make
huh?
ice, yes.
This is a normal Romanian thing. This is the last sun of the season. Last sun of the season.
I love that hair.
Marijuana.
Look at that hair.
Marijuana. We got the cook line going here. Look at this. Look at this line. Look at this. We got puree di cartofe cu usturoi picant. We got porumb cu bronțe unt, broccoli gratinate, chiape rovinate umplute. What's this? Salata, sardine, salata, ore, ketchup. Cranberry sauce. That's a big one. That's a good one. Yeah. The pickles. What do you Romanian for pickles? Caviar. Pumpkin pie. I can't figure out what this is, though. I don't know what this is. It's turkey! It's turkey!
You're still cute.
You know what I mean? It's not my first rodeo.
Ce tot vă îngrămădiți în masă? Ce pula mea să vă la tine și la el?
La înălțime, mă, uite la înălțime, mă.
Sweet potato casserole. Yeah. Mara is doing what we all want to be doing right now. If Bianca said it once, she said it 1,000 times. We don't have enough food.
Thank you!
Happy Thanksgiving! Gobble,
Thank you!
gobble. Croatia. It's a beautiful city. It is a beautiful city.
It's not refined.
You ready to leave Romania via a castle? Communist County marker here. Hey Jake, I want to see if you were paying attention. Tell me one thing about this castle.
This is where Dracula was held before he was murdered.
Dracula was held here before he was murdered. Wow, those are some heavy wording you got there. Hey, Amelia, tell me one thing about this castle.
This is the castle where Dracula used to
No.
before
Something
he
that Jake didn't say. Tell me one thing that Jake didn't say.
There's a big line in front of it to get the tickets, and that's why we won't get in.
Your laptop is like a sheep.
Yeah, she is. She's covered.
All right, one more stop before we're back in Serbia looking for Spomeniks. Last stop in Romania before Vršac is Timișoara. A reclining Romanian pig. And here's the reason for our little pit stop.
Pulled pork sandwich, according to you.
It's a ribs burger. It's a ribs burger.
It's a McRib.
But it's delicious. It's the best ribs burger you're ever gonna have.
We'll see.
back in Serbia and the search for Spomeniks resumes. I just noticed this Spomenik in Vršac on my way to the mechanic. Sorry, Boris, I'm gonna be a little late. Stopped just to check it out real quick. So these were Vršac people that died during the breakup of Yugoslavia. These were local Vršac people that died during the breakup of Yugoslavia in the 90s. You ready for the Vršac Southern Loop? Of course. All right, so the Southern Loop, as I call it, it's about a 5-hour round trip from Vršac. First stop is Požarevac. Did I say that right?
Požarevac.
Požarevac. Via a car ferry over the Danube. All right, so what's up with this river crossing, Dima? What did that guy just say?
Well, we have one crossing in 12:30 and the other crossing is 15:30.
And what time is it now?
Like 10?
It's 10 o'clock. 2.5 hours for the next Danube river crossing. Okay, so that adds about an hour to our trip. No big deal. We're just gonna keep on driving this side of the Danube and cross over down by Smederevo. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Look at this gypsy house here. Yeah, so we were driving along on our extended detour, passing through the village of Gai. We're in a park. We think we see a Spomenik.
We are looking at the monument for the fallen fighters in World War II.
All right, after 2 hours, crosses the Danube, finally. There are these clouds hanging right over Požarevac. Which is the town, by the way, it's the hometown of Slobodan Milošević, and it's his burial place as well, so maybe we'll see his grave if Dima can pull some strings with the locals.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's, you said it's at his home, it's at his property, right? It's at his family's house or something. All right, Milošević's hometown, here we are. Look at that. How do you say star, Dima?
Zvezda.
Zvezda. Here comes the rain, torrential downpour. Look at that.
Holy shit.
The second we come to the star, the rain comes pouring down. So Zvezda means star, and this monument is called the Star. They put it up in 1985. It's a 20-meter tall monolith of metal tubing, and it forms a star. A star is a very important symbol for Yugoslavia, and also it was a symbol of the Red Army. So the Red Army liberated this city in 1944 after the Nazis had it for over 1,000 days. The Nazis were using it as their headquarters for regional operations. 441 Red Army members were killed while liberating the city, and thousands of partisans and resistance supporters were executed here as well. And so this monument is for them. There's Dima for scale. Wave, Dima. 20 meters high. And it's not just the outer shape that's a star. Like there are multiple stars hidden within this structure. Let's see if we can make that obvious here. Like I'm looking straight up from the center, and you can see there are stars within stars here. See the concrete base of these metal tubes. Not in the best condition. Yeah, so Dima's my Serbian translator for today, and he's a little upset. Why are you upset, Dima?
There is no plaque, nowhere to see
There's
who
no
built this.
There's no plaque to
why,
translate. There's no reason to have him here. That's why he's upset. There's nothing to translate. There's no plaque. Sorry, Dima. Better luck next Spomenik. Požarevac. 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 This is Dom Kultura, the cultural center. This is the High Court. It's brutalist-esque. It completed in 1977. the vertical rows of windows, concrete. That's a funny looking fountain. Two graffiti artists around here.
So let's say that 2 weeks by foot, you know.
Introducing Hotel Dunav, completed in 1974 by the same guy that built the city hall you saw earlier. What do you call these hamburgers?
Pljeskavica.
Where are we? God damn it, Dima. How many times did we practice this? How many times? Where are we going, Dima?
Mali Požarevac.
On May 26, 1943, the Germans took 129 young Serbian men, educated, and executed them right here on this spot. They took it from Belgrade, the Banjica concentration camp, and they put this Spomenik up in 1960-something for them. It was a retaliation for an attack by the partisans on German soldiers at a nearby train station 13 days earlier. Take it away, Dima.
The first one. On this place, 26 May 1943, German occupator shot 129, how to say,
Prisoners
from camp on Banjica.
I should have known there was someone else.
So we're driving to the top of that hill there, Kosmaj. You ready?
You're on.
Are we live?
On.
This Spomenik is to the fallen soldiers of the Kosmaj detachment. They built it in 1971. You're looking at 5 30-meter tall fins. They're all separate. These are not attached. They kind of take on a general shape of a star. Again, it's meant to resemble a shining star. The nickname for this is
Slobodarska iskra.
which means the spark of freedom. Thank you, Dima.
You're
wow,
welcome.
what suspense? What suspense? Anyway, in 1941, 45 communists held a secret meeting up here, and they combined 2 partisan units from the Kosmaj and from the Sava River regions. It lasted 4 years. They resisted the occupying forces, the Germans. They lost many hundreds of troops along the way, and this Spomenik is for those guys.
July 41, this spot, it's forum Kosmaj, Kosovski Partizan Squad.
It's everything I said.
Yeah, basically.
Dima for scale. Now you know how tall 30 meters is. Almost forgot, some exciting news for you fellow New Jerseyans. The Westfield Garden State Plaza shopping mall used to exhibit a replica of this monument. I don't know if they still do. Anybody remember that? It's in Paramus. So how do you feel about today, Dima? You turned on to Spomeniks now for the rest of your life?
Well, not turned on.
You're
to
not turned on. Not
no,
turned on. Okay, okay.
Not turned on Spomeniks, but yeah, like very, very good. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Give me time. You will be. You will be.
I've been in the hills, fucking superstars, feeling like a pop star.
Wow.
I got 2 more nights in Vršac, and then I'm gonna hit the road hard. See what I can see in Serbia before I gotta be back in Romania. Christmas time. If you want to see more Vršac, you can check out the video I put together for Grožđevo 2021. This is the second fake domino I've seen in Vršac. We're heading to feed cousin Jakob.
Jakoba.
This is his 5th day in quarantine. He's hungry and lonely. Don't get me wrong, Dima did a great job translating, but today we have a new translator. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah, so today we're doing the Vršac Western Loop, and I understand we're up against some kind of timeline. Some road closure happening today? Is that what you were telling me? What's going on?
Protests.
Protests of what? What are they?
About Rio Tinto.
What are they protesting?
They don't want it in our country.
And when does the protest begin?
In like 2 p.m.
So 5 hours from now.
Yeah.
We're gonna see as many Spomeniks as we can and get out of that area by 2 o'clock. You know you're in or near Vršac when there's some old man on a bicycle fucking up your life. A lot of signs on the road advertising coffee at that place. They don't have coffee. They don't have coffee. All right, first Spomenik of the day. It's a monument to executed patriots.
Secanj.
Say it again.
Secanj.
We're in Secanj.
Yes.
And I don't know anything about this one, so if you can read any of this, looks like just names of people who died.
Yes, it is a list. 17 of them.
It looks freshly painted, doesn't it? They're maintaining this one. Coffee attempt number 2 at Prince Petrol. This signboard wasn't here last time I was here. This is so exciting. So exciting. Let's take a look at this thing.
The history says that people were here like before, like how do you say PC? Like before.
BC.
Yeah. And Timiș, the river that is here, is like a river of secrets, and the artist found.
We're in Zrenjanin. We'll be here for a while looking at 5 or 6 things. The first Spomenik is by Nandor Glid. I don't know if you remember him. He did the flaming menorah in Belgrade. He was the Yugoslav Jewish sculptor from Subotica. So he put up this Spomenik in 1987 after winning a contest to put up one in Belgrade, a tribute to Vladimir Lenin. Belgrade canceled the project, and he put up a smaller scale model in Zrenjanin. Somehow, this is a tribute to Vladimir Lenin. I don't understand the details of that. It's called the Burning Bird. All right, so that Serbian dude that was talking to Diana said that they call that sculpture the Phoenix, you know, rises from the ashes. They discovered some gas here in the 50s or something, and the city rose up as a result of that discovery, and so they call it the Phoenix. Yeah, you heard it here first. This part of Zrenjanin near the center is called Little America, Mali America. Did I say it right? Mala America, Little America. We don't know why. They might have sold Coca-Cola here for the first time, something like that. So this Spomenik is a memorial to the uprising in Vojvodina. They put it up in 1985. Its nickname is Raonik. Did I say that right? Yeah. It translates to plow. It's a good place to dump your garbage. No, how do you say it?
Zrenjanin.
This is the center of Zrenjanin. The Zrenjanin Cathedral. There's the Zrenjanin City Hall. Man on a horse. If you're a city and you don't have a man on a horse, you're not a city. No food yet, but coffee at Cafe Bridge. Cousin Jakob said it's not the river that's yellow, it's the tap water in Zrenjanin that's yellow. Don't drink the tap water.
Oh no! Oh wow, so it is a little something going on in Zrenjanin. Okay.
And there's the House of Culture, I presume. This is the Zrenjanin courthouse. Hall again. I'll be there for you. You'll be there for me too. Now we're heading now to the local concentration camp in Zrenjanin. It used to be a mill, and the Nazis converted it into a concentration camp in 1941, I think. The police were very helpful. They pulled me over and then spoke for 15 minutes about different Spomeniks we should see in the area. So the policeman that was going to fine me 10,000 dinar for not having registration instead decided to tell me about Johann Spila. He was an SS officer in charge of this concentration camp right here. He was a Zagreb police officer. He was transferred to Novi Sad where he was shot, and then he was transferred to Zrenjanin, back then called something in Hungarian that translated to Great Vienna Circle, something, I don't know if I caught that correctly, where he ran this concentration camp. Hey, translator, what does this say?
In this building from 1942, there was a concentration camp where people were tortured. 5,000 of people from all of the Banat. Most of them never even lived. I mean,
They died.
they died.
So one more Spomenik in Zrenjanin, and we're out of here. All right, they put this Spomenik up in the 1970s. It's a monument to the executed partisans. 5 partisans were executed here in 1941. One of the stories goes that Schulman, the girl, 24 years old, was offered a pardon in exchange for information. She said, "Never, I'll die for my freedom," something like that. The spikes represent the occupiers, the aggressors, and the concrete slab represents the resolve of the partisans. Sometimes I wonder if Portuguese people live in these towns.
What is this?
It's a bonus stop right next to that Portuguese house. We saw a partisan star plaque on the neighboring building.
Slovenian or something like that.
So it's a plaque that's not in Serbian.
Narodno-oslobodilačka armija.
That may be Slovakian. This town is 40% Slovakian. Yeah, maybe all these tile houses are Slovakian. It's a Slovakian thing. This leaf-like Spomenik was put up in 1974 to honor 58 local fallen fighters. This is a monument to the fallen NOB fighters here in Aradac, a town that is 40% Slovakian. I presume these are the 54 fallen local fighters.
They all died in April. The same language from the house.
And again, this mystery language that is not Serbian, although we are in Serbia. Where are we headed to now, Diana?
Zabalj!
Yeah, Black Bridge Memorial Complex. I just spoke to an old lady in the town we just left, and she said that language was, in fact, Slovakian. So now we know. You can sleep easy tonight, my friend. This was one of the regions turned over to the Hungarian fascist forces, the Honvédség. And in January 1942, they conducted the Novi Sad raid. You saw some previous Spomenik. I showed you Novi Sad. They took 660 locals from this town, tossed them into the frozen waters of the Tisza. They also shot a lot of them. You can see these statues are riddled with bullet holes. One of the goals of the Honvédség was to basically kill everything not Hungarian. Put this Spomenik up in 1962. It's now part of a golf course. So this is a Spomenik to the fallen Yugoslav pilots. They put it up in 2005, so long after Tito's time. So what does any of this shiznit say, Diana?
They were defending our country and died.
It's like a traffic controller there. This is the second well I passed like this today, so I just want to take a closer look at it. I guess these buckets were once useful. And you dunk the buckets in and pull them out using this. And then you fill up the trough here for the animals. All right, no stop till Titel. Last Spomenik of the day, just in time for the sunset. 1974 monument to the victims of fascism and fallen soldiers. Who is this guy? Died at 28. This Spomenik is 9 meters tall. They put it up in 1974, and it kind of resembles a claw. Symbolizes the way the locals here were snatched out of their homes by the Hungarian fascist forces. I think it was 60 or 80 Serbs and Jews were taken from their homes in January 1942 and forced across the frozen waters of the Tisza, and then the Hungarian forces shot their artillery into the ice, and the Serbs and Jews fell through the ice to their death. As for this guy behind me here, this young guy, this was his favorite place, I guess, to hang out. And they said they put up his memorial here when he died this year. The end.